Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms Season 1 on HBO Max, whatever the fuck it's gonna be called by the time people watch this. So, I did not like what they did with Game of Thrones and its ending. Now, there's multiple things that kind of go into that, and that's a different kind of relitigating kind of thing. So I was like, fuck this shit. Pretty much. Not, and incidentally enough, not on how HBO or the executives kind of handled it. Mainly in regards to what was kind of going on with Martin and the showrunners. I understand that the showrunners wanted to be done with it because they were going to go to like Star Wars and shit like that. But Martin had not finished the books either, and we have seen that even though you can kind of create scenes and everything like that, most of the stuff that they were adapting, they had adapted pretty well because they had material to kind of draw on for. So, I was like, whoa. Then we have, like, House of the Dragon that kind of goes on, but that's kind of adapting a history book. So you actually have to fill in certain kind of things, and it just never really kind of grabbed me. This, I'm like, alright, dunk and egg, let's kind of see what kind of goes on with this. I wasn't planning on doing a review for this, but I'm like, alright, after each kind of week, I'm like, alright, I think I could, like, look into this. It's uneven, and incidentally enough, I think has certain kind of problems that you mainly would see in anime. Mainly in regards to tonal whiplash that would kind of go on. Their attempts at humor will either work for you or won't. It kind of produce certain kind of things where it's really kind of serious thing, and then we see like Sir Arlen's dick, and you're like, what the fuck? Or you see Dunk shitting behind a tree, or other kind of things that are just like, what the fuck? Not everything has to be serious all the time. However, your tone for your comedy has to work within the realm of your seriousness as well as your seriousness kind of bit. If you're a campy motherfucker and you're just going like, it was me, Dio, you fucking stick to that shit, and your comedy should also work with it. That's why like JoJo's has such kind of great shit. Lionel Baratheon is a perfect kind of character to kind of encapsulate this because he is serious on certain kind of things and just fucking funny on other things. He pretty much stole the show for me. I love Lionel Baratheon. Even though this is a Dunk and Egg thing, I would pretty much just take a Lionel Baratheon show where he's just fucking around being a lord, which is odd because most of the time you're like, all the lords in Westeros fucking suck. What else is this asshole doing? And he's like partying and has his fucking stag helmet and shit and just be like, that's like ye old medieval shit going on. It's like, alright. Cool. And overall, I had more enjoyment out of this. I liked the relationship that we got between Dunk and Egg and his relationship with being a knight and attempting to do that kind of shit in Westeros and having the kind of smaller kind of perspective that we were seeing. Because mostly in Game of Thrones, we are watching players that are in the bigger kind of echelons working into the politics of Game of Thrones. However, these characters do that as well, but we at least start within the bottom kind of rungs. Now, these episodes are also kind of shorter, around the kind of 30 minutes, and I'd even say that some of it was kind of extended, and I would actually recommend watching the behind-the-scenes episode kind of stuff that works out. It helps with certain kind of things, and it's just like, oh, that's kind of cool. So, it's only 6 episodes. They have been renewed for a second season. There's talks about like doing 3 or whatnot. I mean, Martin says that he's doing more novels on it, but I don't believe that he will ever kind of finish anything on this. But the basic premise is this is another prequel. It's about 90 years. Let me see. I want to make sure I get this right. Some 90 years before the events of the novel. It follows Sir Duncan the Tall and Egg and their kind of adventures. Now, that becomes... what the fuck did I just do? Okay. Sorry, my phone sometimes does some weird shit. Especially when they kind of change new things and they update your browser and they do shit that makes you go like, what? So Sir Duncan is pretty much a newly minted knight, depending upon what we kind of look at and see towards the end of this episode, the end of this season. And he's burying Sir Arlen and decides to pretty much take the sword and the horses and the shield that he's got and do this tournament in Ashford. Let me see. Yes. On his way there, he pretty much stops at the end, sees this kind of dude that's paid with like a Targaryen crown. He's like, get the fuck away from me, I've seen you in my dreams, bitch. Kind of shit. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about, you weird asshole? And we see this kid that's like got his kind of like helmet on and shit like that and kind of riding his horse. Like, get the fuck off of this. Now, Dunk is not very smart, but he is at least trying to be a good person. Like, no. Doesn't want this little kid Egg to be his squire. It's like, alright, cool, but we know that he is because it's the adventures of Duncan Egg, motherfucker. Let's see. He then meets with the steward of Ashford to pretty much see what he needs to do to get into the tournament. It's like, alright. He claims that Arlen knighted him before dying, but he's like, somebody has to vouch for him, so he then starts going around to other kind of people. Dondarrion, linked up with Baron Dondarrion that we've seen in the Game of Thrones. Arlen served. He's kind of mocked by these two prostitutes, but he doesn't really care before they kind of sympathize with him. He meets with this Fossaway dude and his squire Raymond Fossaway, who's his cousin, who becomes important, as they kind of watch this fire-breathing puppet show performed by Tencel. Let's see here. And then that's, of course, where Raymond kind of takes him into Lionel Baratheon's tent, and he's like eating some kind of stuff. He's like, "You, who the fuck are you? What do you bring me?" He's like, "I came for supper," and he just like laughs. He's like, "Fine, then dance and shit." And then they just start dancing and having a great time. He's like, "Yeah, you know what? You're not so bad." As he kind of like puts his stag helmet on and fucking jumps over the fucking table and just kind of goes on with his merry way. He's like, "Oh yeah, you." And he then, of course, does find Dondarrion, but he refuses to vouch for him. He, of course, then gets back to his campsite, where it's just him against a tree, because he's a hedge knight. He doesn't have much shit. That's kind of what we're going on for. And then he's like, fine, I'll let you be a squire, seeing the shooting star and everything like that. And he's going to, like, all the lords, everybody, trying to pretty much get them to remember Sir Arlen. This is, of course, when we start seeing the Targaryens popping around. Now, these are Targaryens that haven't had dragons, and they're trying to pretty much do their own kind of shit to try and puff themselves up. Let's see. We do get Dunk pretty much talking with the Kingsguard there, trying to figure out what's kind of going on, where this dude's like, yeah, I was a crabber. It's like, yeah, but then this other dude's like, listen, they're like, he's like a merchant fleet. These aren't just people that rose from humble origins. Anybody that's telling you otherwise is selling you shit. And it's like, yep, just like nowadays, motherfucker. Oh, self-made millionaire, self-made billionaire. Yeah, where'd you get the money? Where'd you get the connections, motherfucker? But the costuming design and everything works pretty well, because I really do like the design of the Kingsguard armor, as well as the Targaryens when we get to there. Let's see. And of course, we see that Maker's two sons, Darren and Aegon, are missing. And he does ask the Targaryens, because he like kind of wanders around, and then he also kind of meets it's like this daughter of the Lord of Ashford's pretty much birthday, and it's like, oh, okay. And he makes his case to the Targaryens, and Baelor, who seems like a pretty decent Targaryen, yeah, like, he is decent. So guess what the fuck starts to happen with him? If you're getting Ned Stark vibes, congratulations, you've learned your lesson! Haha! So, he is able to pretty much vouch for him because he remembers Sir Arlen from a tournament that unseated someone, and says that he should get his own coat of arms and everything like that. And he's infatuated with Tencel, pretty much asks her to repaint his shield with a coat of arms with an elm. Egg is pretty much helping him with that. Then we see like him working and helping Lionel Baratheon with a fucking tug-of-war thing. Even Egg's helping out, pretty much putting his weight onto the thing to kind of help out with that kind of shit, which was kind of funny. He does sell his favorite horse, Sweetfoot, this gorgeous white horse. And, ooh, we see him and his kind of affinity for animals, mainly in regards to horses, but like just how he talks to them and everything is very nice. It's just like this kind of hurts him to do, but he needs the armor and everything like that to do everything in the kind of tournament that he has to. And of course, he gets a little bit depressed because he's realizing that Sir Arlen had achieved little in life. He's like, yeah, he taught him how to fight certain kind of things, but not really in the jousting. As him and Egg watch the joust, and is it Valar Targaryen and Lord Edgar Tully? Okay, doing that. But then they also see another one where Egg's brother, like intentionally wounds a horse and pretty much fucks over this one dude. Who's like, holy fucking shit. And we're starting to learn all this kind of stuff that like knights aren't really that good. We've seen that Dunk is being presented with an opportunity to pretty much throw some shit so the Lord of Ashford can recoup costs and everything. It's like, what the fuck? He's given a day to decide, and he's like, holy fucking shit. Oh yeah. And then we get this whole fortune teller predicting that Egg will be king and die in flames. And him and Raymond start like discussing what was going on in Aerian's jousting match. And Raymond is not a fan of the Targaryens whatsoever. I mean, for a lot, and he presents it in the kind of way that you would pretty much expect, because they were foreign invaders that took over and united all the kingdoms, and of course there would be bad blood for eons afterward. But the thing is, it would really kind of punch up when they don't have their nuclear deterrent options of the dragons. So then they actually have to fucking hold the shit themselves, because that's the thing, it's like, I got this fucking dog that'll eat your ass, nuts, and every fucking thing. And then when that dog's gone, it's like, you can back that up, you little asshole? I'll crack you 2 different ways from Sunday. It's like, oh shit, you better back that. I gotta back this shit up. Protein load. Gotta get big, bitch. It's like, that'll only help in certain circumstances. You just have to learn to actually fight. Because that's an important thing we see. Dunk kind of knows night fighting, but he mainly knows flea bottom fighting, because we see that in a flashback towards the end of like, yeah, he knows how to fight, but not in ways you would think. But this leads to the culmination that we're seeing Tansel's performance, and we see that Aerian is insulted that like a dragon is slain by someone because it is a symbol of the Targaryens. The dragons are like, oh, you're fomenting rebellion. Pretty much really hurting her, like breaking her fingers and shit. And Dunk's like, you don't do that shit, asshole. And pretty much punches him and kicks him. He's like, alright, you're gonna lose a hand and the foot for that because you're striking the royal personage. But the thing is, Dunk takes the whole thing of the night seriously. He is protecting the weak and those that aren't as strong from those that are bullying. But Egg comes in and reveals that he is Aegon Targaryen to stop that. And it's like, oh shit, so now we've got really fucked up shit. Baylor's like, god damn it, I got this whole kind of scenario. And he's like, listen, you're a good guy. I know that. Aerian's a little shit. But we got to figure out what to kind of do with this. And he, of course, feels vastly betrayed by Egg, not telling him the truth and like hiding that from him. Darren is the belligerent drunk noble from the inn. He didn't want to participate in the tournament. He is now accused of kidnapping Dunk. Dunk does request a trial by combat, but Aerian's like, nah, I want a trial by 7. It's like, trial by 7, where it's 7 knights versus 7 knights, guys decide. It's just, it works because of the whole faith of the 7 within there, and Baylor's like, oh god. Even Maker, Aerian's own father, is like, really? And we've seen him pretty much be a kind of crass asshole throughout most of this, where he's just like, fuck this shit. He's your typical kind of Targaryen that we've seen before. Not on the complete level of the Mad King, where he's like, I'm gonna kill you up, kind of shit, and like lighting himself on fire and all that kind of shit. And not on the level of Viserion, and where Dany fucking went, as she's thunder-chucked at the end of the final season of Game of Thrones. But he does have that kind of cruelty to him, even though he does seem to be smarter than his son, Arian. And he's just like, all right. So he's got to find 6 knights to fight beside him, and let's see, the Fossaway decides to go with him and says that he'd do it, and that it would be Darren, Maekar, and the 3 Kingsguard will fight with Arian. Darren's like, listen, I'm sorry for this whole kind of thing. I'm gonna fall off my horse. Like, one of you motherfuckers just come and like lightly punch me or something, and I'll be fine. As he's like bringing up that he's like got prophetic dreams, seeing Dunk with a dead dragon. It's like, okay, what's kind of going on here? Peyton informs Dunk that like Tansel had to kind of like flee. It's like, yeah, because she's linked up with this whole kind of thing, but still left the shield and armor. It's like, all right, cool. So we pretty much see that Egg brings him Lionel. Of course, that smarmy little bastard. I fucking love him. Robin, Harding, and Sir Humphrey Beesbury to fight with him, but Stefan decided to switch sides and be a fucking asshole and be like, oh, I was off with her lordship. It's like, you apple-ass motherfucker. It's like, and his cousin's like, you shit fuck. So they don't have as many people as they need, and they didn't even have as many people as they needed beforehand. It's like, god damn it, you need 2. It's like, okay, so we pretty much had the one that Arian kind of fucked over with the horse. He's kind of just like strapped himself there. We got this one dude who was pretty much accosting Egg as he was pretty much training the horses to do the squiring stuff, giving jousting kind of lances and everything like that, doing the stuff with his sword. Even though he's a prince, he's taking that very seriously. He's not trying to be a spoiled little prince. And the thing is, he is not like many of the Targaryens we've seen before. And the thing is, he's also linked up to Master Aemon. As Master Aemon was talking about, like, Egg and Aegon and the kind of tough choice he had to make when everything was kind of going down. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of linked up. But we see that Aegon is a good kid. It's just he wanted to, like, find a knight that he could squire for that I think would fit with him, and that was trying to actually be a knight and be someone kind of worthy. And it's just all the stupid shit that he's had to deal with. Arian, he was telling this thing that like Raymond laughed at, Raymond Fossaway, where Arian would come into Egg's bed at night, put a knife between his legs, and threaten to cut off his genitals. So that way he could pretty much say that he was his sister and then marry him as his sister because of like the Targaryen inbreeding. Arian is an asshole. And I understand Raymond's animosity towards the Targaryens. But I don't know if he was laughing out of the like, I'm uncomfortable and I don't want to do it. I'm in danger. Or, ha, fucking serves you right, you Targaryen shit. I'm like, if it was that, no. If it was more like, I'm uncomfortable and I don't know what to do to process this, okay, I can kind of get that. But we see that Dunk is like, holy fucking shit, what are we going to do here? And the thing is, Raymond's like, Dunk, knight my ass. And it's like, yeah, I mean, shit. That helps out with at least trying to get one more knight that they're kind of needed. Now this, and also a bit in the last episode with Sir Arlen, because we also saw, like, Arlen is, like, either a joke where he's, like, whoring with a giant-ass dick, which was prosthetic, or he's drunk and fighting like a goddamn battle god, where he fucking is drunk and puking and is able to chop a motherfucker's head off that we see in a flashback in the, like, finale. It's like, what are you trying to do with this dude? Like, we see him doing a lot of stuff. Nobody really remembers his ass. He does weird shit around the whole place and tries to tell Dunk to not be a dick shit and kind of, like, smacking the shit out of him every once in a while. It's like, what the fuck? And at least he hasn't smacked Egg around. He's trying to follow Sir Arlen's example, which isn't the complete best. Also bringing up the whole kind of penny tree where knights would, like, you'd pound a penny into a tree for, like, knights when they go off to certain kind of stuff. But we see that Dunk doesn't knight him. Lionel's the one that knights him. This helps lead to credence that maybe Arlen didn't knight Duncan, because you know the typical kind of knighting ceremony in the name of the father and the name of the mother, and dealing with that kind of stuff. Lionel knows it, and we see that kind of going on. And he's pretty much called, like, do you have the amount of knights that you need? And then we see Baylor coming in like a badass, and then I'll fight with him. It's like, sweet, a Targaryen that's doing shit. And then we get episode 5, where, this is where we start seeing Sir Arlen's kind of stuff, telling him to kind of get up and his, like, fighting shit. Sorry. I'm doing the whole season in one, and that kind of bleeds stuff together. But this is the penultimate one, and most of the time we get stuff of like this flashback because Dunk kind of gets knocked down, and then we see him pretty much in Flea Bottom working with this girl. They're pretty much getting stuff off of corpses. They're trying to get their way out of Flea's Bottom and like go off to some other kind of place. However, they pretty much get accosted by this Gold Cloak. He pretty much kills her, and then Arlen pops up, chops that motherfucker's head off, and then we see that Dunk is wounded in his leg. He follows Sir Arlen, and Sir Arlen pretty much helps him and tells him to get up. And then we see Dunk and everything kind of going crazy. We see that Raymond is beating unholy shit out of Applefucker over there, which is nice to see. We see it's all complete chaos because we're mainly seeing it from Dunk's perspective. This is good and bad. I would actually also kind of wanted to see more of the battle, see other kind of stuff kind of going on with other kind of characters, because you don't know exactly what's going on most of the time. I mean, that's pretty much by design. It very much gives off some vibes of The Long Night. However, it's not completely as bad because you can actually fucking see shit. Now, that's mainly down to whatever compression or whatever the fuck was kind of going on with the TV shit, because when I was watching it on like 4K Blu-ray, I could definitely see a lot better, and a lot better on a TV where it's like, oh, okay, it's uncompressed, it's actually at a decent kind of thing. I can actually see what the fuck's going on. I mean, yeah, I'd have to mess with, like, brightness of the TV, maybe. Well, actually, I didn't. You might need to do that yourself. But I didn't need to mess with the brightness on my TV. I could, like, turn off the lights or whatnot, but I actually was able to see more of this shit, where in the first time around, I'm like, what's going on here? Hee hee. No, this is more like the chaos of battle, and Dunk now getting the understanding of what it means to be a knight in these kind of things, because he's only had Sir Arlen doing his kind of stuff, and like you see them kind of fighting and doing like shields and one-on-one kind of stuff. This is a chaotic battle where there's horses involved. He gets fucking flipped over and shit like that. Him and Aryan had a dirty kind of thing. Dunk, I think they went too far with Dunk's injuries, because at the next in the finale, pretty much there's a difference between being like John McClane fucked up and like you should be dead. Almost kind of like anime cartoonish of like, yeah, he gets like stabbed, cut in all these different kind of places. He starts fighting Aryan. He like slices him on the leg. And it's like, that's a pretty nasty one. And then he goes pretty much Flea Bottom mode, where he like takes off his helmet because there's like blood and shit, and he kind of almost got stabbed in the eye, and just starts beating the fucking shit out of Aryan. And he's like, I yield, I withdraw my accusation. And the great thing is, he was kind of in Flea Bottom like, I'll fuck you up, motherfucker. But then he's able to even hear it, even though he's got the ring, and he's like, okay. Drags the motherfucker by the foot. Lifts his ass up and says, tell them, and does. And the thing is, we had seen Dunk do this kind of speech to these people, asking for someone to like stand up for him, and someone stands up and fucking rips a fart, and it's like, you fucking asshole, you fucking nobles who claim to be noble. And then of course Baylor pops up. It's like, holy shit. So that's all done. They've lost 2 knights that died, and then Maker's like, yeah, we need more people like you in the realm. Placerway, can you help me with my helmet? And removes the helmet. He's like, because he said that like his fingers were tingling, they felt kind of wooden, and he takes the helmet off, and he shouldn't have. Well, it wouldn't have really mattered because his skull's crushed in, because his brother Maker hit him with a mace in the back of the head, and there'll be a lot of people wondering if he did it to kill him or didn't, because we see them kind of talking about that in the next episode, and Dunk's grieving for this because this was a good man that tried to help him multiple kind of times, getting him being like, I remember Sir Arlen, you need your own coat of arms and everything, and then trying to help him with what was going on here, and he dies. It's like, shit. And him just saying, I'm sorry, it just hit me. I was like, god damn, dude. And then they're trying to figure out what to do. Maker's like, they'll wonder and whisper and say that I meant to kill my brother, and he's very despondent. He's like, okay, my son's fucked up, but I lost my brother. It's just all kind of fucked up for him now. So he's like, all right. He's going to send Arian off to the Free Cities to kind of get rid of him for this shit. We do see that Egg pretty much is thinking about like going and killing Arian with a knife, but his father is there, and he kind of just gets onto that. They don't even speak. It's a really kind of powerful thing with Egg just there being like, all this kind of shit, and it's like, this little boy wondering if he should kill his brother because of the stupidity and the arrogance and the maliciousness that this fucking asshole has done. And his father just comes up to him and just lays a hand on his shoulder, and he just drops the knife. He's like, God damn it. And Egg wants to be a squire to Dunk, and he's like, you pledge your sword to me. You'd go to Summer Hall, you'd finish your training with the Masters of Arms and also train him as well. He's like, I've had my fill of princes. We see him go to Baelor's funeral, meeting Baelor's son Valor, and wondering like, why did he die? He's like, why did he die and you didn't? He's like, I have no idea. Because even Dunk isn't on it. He just believes that like he's bad. Like Lionel offers him to come to Storm's End and pretty much be his brother and just like bro out and shit. And he's just like, I'm bad luck, man. He's like, I got Baelor kills it. Fuck you, man. He's like, no, that dude risked. Like, I agreed on Lionel to a certain extent. He's like, the King Guard weren't going to attack him. That fucker had nothing to lose. And the gods hate a fraud. And I'm like, you can kind of say that. He really technically didn't have anything to lose, but it was still kind of powerful to him to stand up to his nephew and his brother. And the thing is, you're going into battle. You do have something to lose if something like that goes on. It's like, God damn. But I love the ferocity he argues. It's like, fuck those assholes. It's like, but he really feels for Dunk. And there's a camaraderie with them that just is very nice. It's like, yes. It's like, just come with me, man. I don't got any problems. Tansel, of course, getting to Dorne and all that. And Egg is disappointed, saying that maybe he's not the knight that he thought he was. And we do see a thing here as well, leading more credence to the theory that Arlen might not have knighted Dunk, because he's asked, like, an Arlen that's pretty much dying, or telling him the whole thing about the Penny Tree, why he was never knighted. Which hurts that a true knight always finishes a story. It's like, okay. And he then gets a little bit more kind of prodding, going to visit more of the kind of fallen knights, visiting Raymond and finding that he's gotten married to, let's see, Rowan, who's with child, and it's like, alright, whatever. She pretty much was looking to trap someone else, and he was looking to have a piece of ass, and it's like, alright. But they're pretty much there, and then Darren's like, listen, I really think you should, like, train Egg, because at a certain point, Arian wasn't a little monster. He wasn't an asshole. And then pretty much going the whole nurture versus nature kind of thing of, like, if you're in the environment of the Targaryens, you're gonna turn into a fucking asshole. It's like, okay, maybe if Egg is brought up away from that kind of stuff, that would kind of work in his favor. Yeah. And Dunk does bring up to Maker for him to squire with him on the road as a hedge knight. He's like, no. To kind of bring that up. We do see that Raymond buys Sweetfoot, the white horse, back for Dunk, but he's like, you know what? You're a good knight. You got him. Take care of him. It's like, take care of her. It's like, that's really good. So he's kind of leaving, and then Egg arrives, and it's like, yeah, my dad said that I could do it. It's like, oh, God damn it. So they kind of go on. He gives him his horse and tells him that he'll treat him well and all that kind of stuff if he doesn't be an asshole. It's like, all right. And then we get towards the end of the episode, and Makar's looking, the Targaryens are leaving, and Makar's like, where's my fucking son? It's like, yep. Nope, didn't agree to it. Egg also suggests that they travel to Dorne, and that, like, there's actually 9 kingdoms, even though they're called the 7 kingdoms. And Dunk's like, are you fucking kidding me? And then he lists them all off. He's like, fuck. The thing is, that happens a lot on that. And it's like, oh, shit. So, I like the introduction of these characters. It was mainly in regards to how comedy was kind of done throughout here that kind of did tonal whiplash. It's not a complete problem that is on the same kind of level as what people can level on the MCU. The MCU's problem is utilizing the same kind of jokes between different characters. I.e., Spider-Man's a quippy one, so you then start making some other kind of hero quippy, and it's not Spider-Man's thing anymore. Everybody starts quipping. It's like, no, you gotta write the humor to the character. It's almost that kind of factory mindset of like, oh, this joke, this joke, this joke, which is kind of a problem. They didn't have that much of a problem with it because you had Tony being like his arrogant fucking ass self. You had Steve being straight-laced and having his own kind of versions of jokes, being like not really that much in the know and working with women in the first one, and then not being that in the know with certain kind of stuff and technology in the present day. Differentiate. Thor being a fucking Asgardian and what that kind of entails. And then, of course, quippy Spider-Man being like, hey, you're seeing this old movie and shit? That works. Here, it's just like, okay, it's more in the tonal kind of nature of what kind of goes on. I like the serious kind of stuff and then the kind of comedy that would work within that kind of realm with the seriousness. Here's the thing of how I kind of explain it in regards to the anime kind of portion. There's certain kind of anime that will go completely over the top one minute and then go completely serious the other minute, and you just have this kind of incongruity where like, what the fuck's kind of going on here? Like, say that, okay, you've got this hero party, and they're going after this demon lord, and then it's a really serious kind of moment. And then for some reason, you got big boob lady naked for some reason or whatnot. Hero accidentally walks in or whatnot, and then he gets like he's the super badass that's supposed to be or building himself up to be strong enough to take on the demon lord, and then she like beats the complete and utter fucking shit out of him, and it's like left with like bumps and shit like that everywhere. It's like, alright, and it's just like right before a final battle or whatnot, or happens during the final battle where the hero's like, I will win, and then titties. It's like, what? And then she's like, no, and then boo, and then the world would be like ended. But then you find out that the demon lord is looking at the titties too, and she's like, bitch, and then fucking like comes in with the chair, boom. It's like, what? Where it just kind of goes all over the place. If it was built with like that comedy in mind, and that was the central focus, and it's a comedy gag manga that's like going ham-ass motherfucker, that's fine. But when you've got like, my father was killed by the demon lord, and it's like melodramatic and like really serious and shit like that, it's like, what the fuck? Like when you're seeing like Dunk shitting, it's like, I don't need to see this. There's a level of like, alright, and then you just see Starlin's giant ass cock. It's like, we see them on the after, it's like, we keep taking the piss out of Starlin, so we decided to give him a fucking giant ass cock. That was a prosthetic. Like, alright. But when it's like that big and it's taking me out, I'm like, how the fuck do you wear pants with that kind of cock? It's like, alright. Because I'm just thinking like, roll that bitch up, or like, I'm gonna have to have wide ass fucking pants, like parachute pants and shit. So it's like, okay. Because when you do that kind of thing, it's like, alright. But what if this takes someone out of it? It's like, that's a big cock. And then you're just thinking about that for the whole entire episode because it's right fucking there. It's not like you can look anywhere else because the camera's like, big ass cock. It's like, I can see that. Mm-hmm. But when they're focusing on what it means to be a knight, what Dunk tries to do to be a knight, what are the consequences of those actions, what does he feel he needs to do for the consequences of those actions? Should he be around with Egg? Should he be showing him what it is to be a knight when all these people say that they are knights and that they're awesome and that they have an honor and they're just pieces of fucking shit and don't actually do the knight shit that Sir Arlen probably did as the Hedge Knight, and even though people look down on Hedge Knights, they actually get shit done. And that there's actually the potential that like Dunk is linked up with like Brienne of Tarth, which actually makes it a little bit better because she's one of the only fucking true knights that you really actually fucking get in Game of Thrones as well. Which is hard because most of the people are fucking dickheads. That's the really good stuff, and seeing him kind of work with Egg and everything like that, and how he's like, what are you fucking talking about? As Egg is, like, pretty much the more learned adult kind of one in the thing, trying to get him like, oh, you're trying to make me feel better for being short. It's like, sure, I guess. It's like, alright, Dunk. But I overall enjoyed it, even though it was kind of like all over the place and the comedy didn't completely hit with me. I think potentially that if the executives at Warner Brothers and HBO have learned anything from Martin, to at least try and figure out their own way to end a show, just to have in a back case pocket scenario, because fuck it, don't wait around for Martin to finish it. That kind of works on their own kind of thing. So we'll see how this kind of works for the second season. I enjoyed this, and I liked what we saw, especially with like the battle, the choreography, costuming and everything, character, world, lore building, or just comedy elements. And I'm like, doesn't work completely for me. I don't mind the comedy, but it's like, work it a little bit better together to make it a little bit more organic. So those are my opinions on this season. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.